Welcome back, Warrior Nation. Did you know 58% of respondents to a Harvard Business Review survey said they trust total strangers more than they trust their boss? What's that about? This week, I'm sharing how to know if you're a great leader and part of the 42%. Hi, I'm Nile Harris, a life strategist, business consultant, and speaker working with aspiring entrepreneurs and transitioning professionals to transform their passion and purpose into profit by managing their business like a boss. Before I dive into 3 ways to know if you are a great leader, take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you find this content helpful, please like and share it in your network. And join me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at I am Nile Harris, and connect with me on LinkedIn so we can keep this conversation going and engage with one another. Okay, so that's kind of rough, right? Think about 58% of people said, hey, I trust this person I don't know more than I trust this person that I interact with every day for hours. Total stranger, check. Person I interact with, not check. What is that about? Being a leader, first of all, is lonely. It can be lonely because you can't necessarily be friends with the people that you lead, though you might care about them, because you also have to be tough when you have to be tough, and you have to be able to sort of walk through the fire with your team. And it can also be confusing and heartbreaking to deliver bad news or try to move your team through hard, difficult times. And we're also in this sort of weird time frame where leadership is associated with title. I think leadership has always been associated with title to a certain degree. The higher you rank in an organization, you're considered a leader. And what we've also seen kind of this generational shift that people want more from the people above them. It isn't so much about, coming in, sitting at your desk, getting your work done anymore. Because we spend so much time at work and it's in a dynamic environment, we need and require more from our leadership team. And we need and require our leaders to be engaged in multiple dimensions, emotionally, mentally, and also leaders are having to manage bigger organizations, right? So from the leader standpoint, they could have 10, 15, 20 people on their team and none of them are the same. So how do you manage that? You want to be a great leader, but then you also have to manage your inbox. You also have to manage your own leaders, and you have to make sure everything gets done. Well, it can be difficult, but great leaders strive to do it. So here are 3 ways to know that you are a great leader. Number one, you understand that you make the title. The title doesn't make you. Congratulations on your promotion to director, manager, vice president, CEO. But you understand that those are words. That is how you are mapped on the organizational chart. It does not suddenly imbue you with skills that you did not have before you were promoted into that role. You either worked on being a great leader before you got in the role, so you prepared for leadership before you got into a leadership position or got that leadership title or a leadership job, or once you got in there, you realized, hey, I have some gaps. I have an individual development plan, and I'm going to work on being a better leader. I don't believe the journey to becoming a great leader ever ends. There's always something else. Think about right now, it's 2020 and there's a pandemic on. How many CEOs were prepared for a global pandemic? Probably maybe one or two, three or four. Bill Gates was, okay, that's one. But think about what they're now having to do. There's all this anxiety. Stocks are falling. Revenue is dropping. This is unprecedented, and great leaders will rise to that occasion. And because their title says it's part of their responsibility, but the way they go about doing it is what makes them a great leader. They make the CEO spot. They make the vice president spot by having high emotional intelligence, high EQ. They connect with people. They talk with people. They really understand what it means to lead an organization through a tough time. And what they don't say is, well, I'm the director. You need to do what I say. And I've actually had somebody say that to me. Yes, I did. I was working on a presentation and I wasn't quite understanding what my manager wanted. And our I think we were using the same words, but they had different meanings. And it was just a matter of let's communicate better. Well, what she did was she took out a red pen and started marking up my presentation. And she said, I'm a director. I don't have time to look at your presentation. Okay, well, you're not a leader, because a leader, if your person is struggling on a particular aspect, would meet me where I am and help me get to where you want me to be. Because once I get to where you want me to be, then I'm there and then I can grow from there. So they don't throw things out like I'm the CEO, I'm the president, I'm the manager. They they make the title. They make it what it is in that leadership role. They don't rely on title to be the bat with which they hit their team with, to put it bluntly. Number two sign you may be a great leader. You guide your team. You don't rely on command and control. Now, there are kind of two leadership styles, or three or four, but I would say that certain organizations, and it really just depends on the culture, will have a command and control. So think of the military. They are command and control. An order comes down, everybody falls in line. There's no deviating from it. You follow the orders. There you go. Now, you wouldn't think that an organization would adopt a culture of this, because that's not how you innovate. That's not how you grow. You grow by having people and giving people space to express ideas, explore new ways of doing things and processes, and having diverse organizations who can come to the table and have the freedom to voice dissenting opinions or agreeing opinions, and everyone is heard. A great leader is able to not only create that team of varying voices, they don't want people that just look like them, sound like them, walk like them, talk like them. They want people who are better at what they are not good at, and as a guide, they can bring and facilitate all of those voices into a beautiful harmony and pull out and crystallize what the team needs to do, create a plan, work with them, and then move them forward to achieve great results. This does not mean, however, that a great leader does not have to use command and control when necessary. In times of crisis, it might be more of a command and control because you don't have a lot of time to collaborate, and it actually might feel better for the team in a time of crisis to, like, just tell me the three things I need to do and let me go execute, right? That's police do that. Fire people do that when it's a big fire. They have their orders. They know what they need to go do. Command and control has a place. If you are relying on command and control as your primary go-to, it might work one or two times, but I guarantee you, people are probably behind your back plotting how to get away from you. An easy way to know if you are a leader or not is to look behind you. Are people following you? So this is really interesting for me. I once had a leader, a person in a leadership position with a leadership title. He used to tell our team that you, to be a leader, we need to make people followers. And I always found that very odd. I found the And he used to say that we had to make people leaders. And I always found that very odd, sort of self-centered, that, well, why do we have to sort of subjugate people into following us? I believe that you make people believers. You invite them to believe you. You invite them to trust you and give them the opportunity to see you as a leader, to see you come across and reach to them in the gap, because I firmly believe that leadership is a privilege and leadership is the right of the follower. The follower expects for the leader to lead. They expect for the leader to lay out the path, to do things first, to go first, to show the way. They don't expect that a leader is just going to be sitting around like, I have now made you my follower. So I always disagreed with that notion. But a great leader is going to guide, they're going to talk things through, bring together a diverse team, have those different voices at the table, and then make final decisions. When the situation calls for command and control, they will do it, but they're not a bully about it. It's not a power play. It is simply the best mode at the time to meet the situation. Leadership trait number 3, or the sign that you might be a great leader. If you have not read this book, please go get it. Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. I love this book. It is based on the premise that in the military, officers eat after their troops have eaten. They take care of their people and then they take care of themselves. They make sure to remove obstacles, remove challenges, remove blockages. What do you need from me? Great leaders believe they work for their team, not their team works for them. My job as a leader is to make sure that whatever you need to develop, whatever resources you need to get your job done, that I can secure them as much as I'm able. If you need $10 million to do some kind of strange idea, I might be able to get you 2 million or 5 million, maybe not the full 10, but my job is to figure that out with you. When you bring me solutions, right? Don't bring me problems, bring me problems and potential solutions, and we can work that through. And hey, let me try to remove that for you. And a great leader will also know if one of the obstacles that they need to remove is you. Meaning, if you are standing in your own way in terms of your development, if you have a blind spot that you haven't addressed performance wise, they know how to sit down and have a conversation with you to deliver tough feedback and help you through that feedback, help you develop. They don't just drop the mic and say, people don't like you, and then walk off, or this is your job, and then walk, or give you PIP or IDP and then just walk off. They make sure that if it is at all within their span of control to help you improve. And then if the person just can't improve, then that might be on them. But at least as a great leader, you're able to say, I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down to Z, and this was the situation, and this was the final decision. That's what great leaders do. They exhaust as much as they possibly can. And I already hear some folks leaning back in their chair. Well, Nile, I manage people. I got a $60 million budget. I got, I'm managing 100 million in revenue. I don't have time to do all of that. Yes, you do. Great leaders will also help their team feed themselves, right? So if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. You teach them how to do better self-evaluations, how to ask for what they need, how to go out and look for resources and go out and look for solutions and then bring you potential solutions. Hey, Nile, I've brought you 3 potential solutions. Which one do you think it is? The conversations end up being a lot more effective. They end up being a lot quicker. And the person also feels empowered. So that's, what was that? Sign number one and sign number two, all mixed in there. But those are three ways to know that you are a great leader. And I have three favorite quotes of mine about being a leader. And one I'm going to paraphrase is from Abraham Lincoln, which basically says, "Hey, you can't lead without the consent of the follower." That's what I mean by, if you're the leader or you're the person in a with a title uh, that indicates that you should be a leader. If you look behind you, proverbially speaking, and there's no one there, you're not the leader. Second quote is Tom Peters, and it says, or he says, that leaders don't create followers, they create other leaders. Going back to that person in a management position that used to say, you got to make followers. No, you got to make other leaders. That's what you have to do. And then the third quote, which is my quote, which I've already said, is leadership is the privilege of the leader. It is the the right of the follower. As a follower, I have a right that the person above me is being diligent, is being effective, is going to communicate, and is going to develop and amplify my good works. That's my right. That's why you're in the position in the org chart. That's why you're in the box above me, right? But as the leader, as the person in the box up here, it's a privilege. Your reward for good work is a higher pay, it's a bonus, it's a promotion. Leadership is not your reward, it's your privilege. That's it, Warrior Nation. I hope you will join me back here again by subscribing to my YouTube channel and turning on the alerts when you so you'll know when I post new content. And if you found this helpful and useful, please like and share in your community. And please don't forget to join me on LinkedIn at Nile Harris, and Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at I am Nile Harris, so that we can keep this conversation going. I will talk to you soon, Warrior.